Ladies and gentlemen, put it together for the renowned Monica Morgan.
I'm surrounded by darkness. My eyes are wide open, but I can only see darkness. I feel as if I'm suspended. No matter how hard I try to see, there is no light anywhere. And then I hear a voice, a male voice. He says, she's married to some big wig. And I'm straining to hear the other voice. What's her blood type? I need to know what her blood type is. She needs blood. And I want to say it's B negative, but they can't hear me. I don't even know if my words are coming outside of my mouth. I just feel them. I can sense them. But there's darkness. Please, please, I'm here. I feel like I'm on some setting of Grey's Anatomy. I realize later that they're actually operating on me and I'm wide awake. It's like being at the dentist, where your mouth is not totally deadened and you don't feel sharp pain, but you feel pain. I felt a gnawing, cutting inside me. And I heard these doctors continuing to talk, and I wanted to say, stop, I'm awake, but I couldn't move. I couldn't open my eyes, I couldn't move my arms, I couldn't move my legs. And they kept on talking. And they said, we can actually follow the path of the bullet. It went around her vital organs and around her vital arteries and came out of her back within a 0.5 centimeter of her spine. I don't know what they're talking about. It couldn't be about me because I'm in darkness. I can't see anything, but I'm feeling that gnawing, dull pain continuing to cut across my stomach, and I pray to God to give me the strength to go to sleep. And he lets me sleep. When I awake, I'm in a different setting. It's bright, and there are people coming to see me. I don't want people to see me. I can't imagine what state I'm in. I mean, do I have on my red lipstick? Is my hair done? I see these people coming up to my bed, and they're looking down on me, and they're like, they're trying to smile, but I can see they have been crying, and I want to say, I'm okay, but I can't talk because there's this big tube in my throat. I find out later that I had been on a ventilator, and I had been in a coma for about 9 or 10 days. I never really found out how many days it had been. And everybody's coming and looking at me, and I feel like I'm in some kind of freak circus. Would they stop looking at me? I see my husband's family and his friends look at me, and then I see, or not in this order, but I think my family came first, and there's only a few of them, and they came and looked at me, and I'm trying to smile with my eyes, but I feel like, leave me alone and let me go to sleep after I feel my husband's arms around me. But they keep coming. And I realize that I'm in a hospital room. That on December 30th, I was shot at close range by a .45 Desert Eagle. You see, we have been cleaning guns. And we had gone to the gun range earlier that day. And I happened to get up. I have 2 metal knees, and so I braced myself as I got up from the table. The gun was being aimed this way, and it was racked. And as it racked, it hit me here as I was getting up. It hit here, went around, and came out. But I didn't know that then. All I know was that I felt like the wind had been knocked out of me. It was such excruciating pain. I had never felt pain like that before in my life. And then it went away. And I thought maybe I had imagined it because it was so quick. And so I look at my husband and I look at his friends and I say, I'm okay. Really, really, I'm okay. And they look at me like, what is she talking about? You see, the gun had malfunctioned. It wasn't aimed at me. It was aimed this way. And they were looking to see why the glass hadn't shattered. And I said, really, if anything, it ricocheted. And then all of a sudden, my husband, he looked down at me. And he said, baby, let me check you. And I said, would you stop? I'm going to get something to drink. He said, baby, let me check you. So he started to touch me. And I felt okay. But then when he got to my back, it was like a hot, searing liquid had gone moving through my body. He said, oh my God, she's been shot. Call 911, call the police. I refused to cry. And I didn't scream. You see, they didn't know I had been shot because there was no blood. And I refused to cry because I couldn't hurt him any more than he already was for being the one holding the malfunctioning gun. The ambulance came quickly. And as I was on that ride, I started to think back. I had just gotten home from covering, I'm a photojournalist, Nelson Mandela's final rites. And I started to think back to when I first went and covered the bombs, and I covered his 90th birthday party at his home, and then the culmination. And I realized that you never, ever know when it could be your last moment. You see, I had a lot more to do. I wasn't ready for that to be the end. I'm a photojournalist, and I live life through the lens. You saw my images earlier. That's who I am. I wasn't ready for that to be over. And as I had that short ride to the hospital, and then as I started to recover on that long road, I refused for it to be the end. So I'm in the bed, and I get my phone back. So I start to look at all of these text messages, and it's overwhelming because my mind is still groggy and foggy with all of the pain meds. And then I go to Facebook. So I start seeing people say, hey, Monica, if you're okay, just hit the like button. So I hit the like button, and I hit the like button, and I realized I had like thousands of people telling me to hit the like button. And then there was a message from one of my friends. And you know, she had the nerve to tell me, you better go on Facebook and tell people that you're okay and that you love your husband. I'm like, what? I am fighting for my life, and you want me to go on Facebook and tell a story? Well, little did I know that there were fictional stories going around. I knew he didn't love her. I knew their love was a fairy tale. You see, there's always those stories because hurt people hurt people. So I thought about it. I knew my husband had to be hurting. You see, they don't tell you the stories about the police officers who lose their lives or limbs because of malfunctioning guns. So when you hear somebody else gets accidentally shot, it couldn't possibly be an accident. So I asked for a brush, and I brushed my straight black shoulder-length hair. Thank goodness for the weave, because I was still looking cute in the hospital. And I put on my red lipstick as power, and I see a photographer out there. Always be ready for that. Close up. But that was what I had to do because I needed people to know I'm okay. I'm not the way the news stories are reporting me. I'm a strong woman. I'm Lula's granddaughter. I'm Barbara's daughter. I'm strong. But yeah, I had to go on Facebook because I had to tell my story. You see, we have so many people out there, they're ready to tell your story for you. But I refuse for anybody to tell my story. And there are times when we don't have a voice and we can't speak, literally. Or there are times when the legal system prevents you from speaking. Or there are situations and circumstances where you can't say what really happens. And unfortunately, we live in a community where every once in a while there's a choir of haters. And they want to take a little bit of the story and twist it around and say it their way. Well, I'm here to tell you that my shooting was an accident and that my husband loved me more than anything, and I loved him. And when he came to me in that room and put his big arms around me, that bear hug, I knew that our love was going to be even stronger. And so after a year later, he passed away. suddenly from pancreatic cancer. And after that, here goes the news again. Adding the stories, not knowing, telling fictional things. And I'm in the news. You see, I get a lot of clicks. People always want to tell a story about you, and they don't even know you. How many people in here have ever just said something about someone and they don't really know what happened? I want you to know that the news is not always telling you the truth. My husband survived getting through my shooting by not listening to the news, by not reading the newspapers, by not looking at the blogs and the Facebook posts that wanted to call him a killer. One news station said he walked in the room and shot her in the back. Oh yeah, they'll make up things if they have a deadline. They kept saying, well, we couldn't reach him. Well, he was at the hospital with me. So be careful when you sometimes hear those stories. And be careful not to be the first person to run out and say what you hear until you know the facts, because you don't know how you might be tearing someone else apart inside, adding to their brokenness, to their pain. So now, because of platforms like this, I am able to tell my story. I tell my story weekly on 9:10 a.m. Superstation, where I have a live radio show. I tell my story through images. I have photographs on display here at this museum of Aretha Franklin. And I'm working on a book. And no matter what the news stories say, no matter what the social media posts say, no matter what the haters say and the strangers say, I'm telling my story, my way. And if you have a question and you really want to know, ask me. I know how to speak. I'm learning how to get better and better at it. And just remember, you all can tell your story too, because there's nothing more painful than having a story inside that doesn't come out.
Monica Morgan, ladies and gentlemen.